So in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue 43, things are getting more crazier and crazier in Necessary Evil. Dayne is kicking ass, we're finding more about the Empowers, Dayne is still kicking ass, and let's just talk about this issue right now because there's a lot to go over in MMPR issue 43. Let's talk about it right now.
All that power. All that power. All that power.
So the issue opens up with Billy telling Zordon what happened with the fight with Dayne. Now I talked about these panels in my preview discussion, but let's go over them again because this fight is freaking brutal because Dayne is a goddamn monster and not one to be taken lightly because he easily takes out all the Rangers with ease. Now, first he takes out Kimberly, breaks her thumb so she can't use her bow. Then he goes after Rocky, blinds him with this weird gooey liquid stuff. Then Adam takes him on and he sends out these weird looking bug scarab things to take on Adam. And when I went over this in the preview pages, people said Adam didn't have a fear of bugs, and I looked it up on the wiki. I tried going back trying to remember if Adam did have a fear of bugs, but he never had an episode like that. Zach was the one scared of spiders, but I guess Adam might be grossed out by bugs in the comics, who knows. Aisha gets her ass handed to her because she basically does the old thing where you shout at your enemy when you strike him. And because Dayne's a dog, he's got those big old doggy ears, he just kicks her in the gut. Roundhouse kicks her in the gut, takes her out. And then Billy and Kimberly, they try giving it a go, they're taken out. And then Tommy steps up to the occasion and fights Dayne. And Tommy gets his ass handed to him. And seeing Tommy lose to Dayne shows how powerful this guy is, because Tommy is basically the god mode of Power Rangers. He's the guy that saves the day in the TV show. When Tommy shows up, everything's going to be okay. When Tommy's not around, Power Ranger fans should be asking, where is Tommy? But Tommy gets his ass handed to him in this panel, and it's freaking crazy. Now, Zordon's excuse is, yeah, Tommy still has to learn how to control these powers because he's still learning. And that does make sense. Tommy's only been the White Ranger for a little while, and they've never encountered anyone like Dayne before. But I gotta say, these panels where Dayne is fighting him is freaking amazing, because he basically takes Tommy out of commission for this whole issue. He's out cold. And I gotta say, the fight with Dayne that they do have on these panels, I gotta love the artwork and the contrast and the colouring. It just stands out. It's not anything dark colours for dark and gruesome. It's these light and bright contrast colours that makes each panel stand out with all the action going on, and it's really freaking cool. I mean, Dayne's got a freaking lightsaber, and that even stands out with the contrast, because in the background it's like a green background, and the lightsaber, it's not like the right shade of a lightsaber, like a red tint. It's sort of orangey, because, you know, copyright, you got to get around that copyright. And like, this fight is just freaking amazing. Dayne just curve stomping him. But we'll talk about Dayne later, because Dayne's going to come into play later down the line. Now let's focus on the Breel stuff. I'm going to talk about all the Breel stuff in this section. Meanwhile, on the planet Breel, if you don't remember last time, Queen Adriel, she knew that the Rangers were on the planet, and she basically calls them out saying, Rangers, if you don't show yourself, I'm going to blow up your ship, and you'll basically be staying here where you'll be killed. And the Rangers be like, well, if she knows we're here, we gotta morph. But while this is going on, the Rangers can all hear each other's thoughts. And this is where the comedy comes into play, but the comic can still be very serious, because Zach is the highlight of the comedic timing of this Breel stuff, because everyone can read each other's thoughts, and Zach is like saying, oh, they can read my thoughts, please don't read my thoughts, don't think about how hot the alien queen is, don't think about the hot alien queen, don't think about the hot alien queen, and he's trying to deny that the alien queen is quite the looker. So Zach checking out the hotties on the planet Breel, mostly Queen Adriel. So the Rangers morph, and we get to see what their weapons look like. Jason's got the katana, which we've seen on a cover. Kia's got a trident. Trini's got some kind of hammer. And Zach has this chain sickle, and they do look really awesome. They're very different from other Ranger weapons we've seen so far. I mean, they're all kinds of different weapons from like mythology and stuff like that. I mean, they've got different kind of weapons. They're not all based on a certain mythos and stuff like that. They've all got interesting things that make them stand out. I do like Zack and how Zack's got this chain sickle. That was the coolest weapon out of all of them. The trident did look pretty cool, and Trini's hammer looks really awesome as well. Trini's hammer kind of reminds me of Monster Hunter, where you can have a hammer on a weapon in that game. It kind of reminded me of one of the hammer weapons you get in Monster Hunter. But Trini does say, oh man, I do miss my daggers. So that was a fun little throwback. I did enjoy that. And once again, the contrast in the artwork stands out really well on the planet Breel. So the Rangers confront the Queen of Breel, and Jason gets smacked to the side. And as this is going on, Jason says, I haven't been hit like that since. And Kia replies with, Lord Drakon, and you get to see Lord Drakon in the back of her head. Drakon's seen in the panel in the flashback land, or imagination land, because she pictures him in his head. You see what Drakon looks like in her point of view, and it's a really cool looking Drakon that Danielle draws. I gotta say, I love his style of drawing Lord Drakon. He's pretty freaking amazing. So Kia's really surprised that Lord Drakon's brought up, because Lord Drakon was the one that shattered the grid and caused everything to happen. Even though the Rangers saved everything and Lord Drakon caused the grid to be shattered, that is still the reason why Kia has those powers and her family is dead. And Kia's going to come into play later down the line in this issue. So the Omega Rangers hunt down Queen of Breel, and we find out that she is not the one who was empowered. It is someone else that she's locked in the throne room, and it's a scrawny looking alien guy that's a bit of a coward. This scrawny looking alien dude is called Cultivus, and Cultivus is the one who blew up the ship in the previous issue. He was the one who was empowered. He was the one that we saw at the end of issue 23 in the silhouette when Jason was looking at all the incoming threats in the near future. That was him. He is the one that we saw in the silhouette, which was a really cool reveal. And I was surprised that it was actually this weak looking alien dude who was the empowered. I mean, I gotta admit, it's a really good bait and switch, because I thought Queen of Breel was the one who was empowered. I think a lot of us did thought that she was the one who was empowered, and I gotta admit, this is a good bait and switch. I mean, some would say it's predictable, but I didn't really see it coming during my live reaction. I thought Queen of Breel was the one who was the one in charge the whole time, but once you piece it all together, reading the issue when she says Cultivus, it does make sense. So the weird looking alien dude sneaks up on Queen of Breel as they're all fighting. The Rangers are fighting the Queen in the throne room, and he just chokes her out, strangles her to death. She's gone, she's dead. We're not seeing her no more, which was kind of a shame, because I did like the Queen of Breel. I was hoping that we would see her in future issues, but nope. Choked to death, she's gone. So, with the Queen of Breel dead, I did bring this up in my live reaction, which I don't know if a lot of people are going to go back and watch, but I'll bring it up now. With the Queen of Breel dead, there's going to be a power balance and a power shift, on the planet Breel. She's dead, she's gone. Who is going to be the new leader of this kingdom, the new ruler? We have no idea. I don't know if she's got, family set up to rule the throne, or some random is going to take it. I get the feeling, because it's called Necessary Evil, and this shift of power balance going on, someone is going to take the throne, and I get the feeling it's going to be Cultivus, with the little silhouette we got at the end of issue 23 in Go-Go. So that's one of my predictions, because I get the feeling once he escapes from the jar, he's going to go back to the planet Breel and say, I'm your new ruler, I'm going to rule over you, you will now bow down to me. That's one of my predictions. So, after the death of an alien queen on an alien planet, we then cut to the Omega Rangers in the ship, talking to our green little alien friend, telling him it's going to be alright, we're going to take care of you, because we're taking you to safe haven, and you'll be fine there. And this is Trini telling him this, because Trini is the one that reassures him, saying, you're going to be safe, we're not going to hurt you where we're taking you, you'll be perfectly fine. Unfortunately, this is not the case, because the Blue Emissary says, yo, this dude's dangerous, he murdered the queen, he can't be trusted, he killed someone, and if you kill someone, you gotta go in the vault, you gotta go in the little dumpster urn, locked away forever. I'm sorry, that's just the rules. And the three Rangers, the three original Mighty Morphin Rangers, saying, hey, he was being forced to do those horrible things. He couldn't help it. He had to do something. And Kia interjects saying, hey, if we're putting murderers in here, then I should be locked in this vault, because the first thing I did when my powers awakened was murder my entire family while they slept. So if we're sticking to the rules, put me in there as well. And the Blue Emissary says, what you described is not murder but tragedy. There is no intention, Kia. Your conscience should be clear. So I get the feeling Kia is going to betray the team sooner or later. Who knows? But because the green little man gets put in the vault, this upsets Trini. And after this, Trini takes a long walk along the beach, checking her phone. And as she checks her phone, she gets a voicemail from Kimberly. But I gotta say, this panel where you see Trini on the phone, I gotta say, this is a really well-drawn panel. I mean, the contrast for the beach, not the blue ocean, it's got like pinkish water, blue sand, purple sky. I mean, the shading and the coloring looks really freaking cool. And then the bottom panel where you just see Trini upset when she's checking her phone, hearing the message from Kim. That's something like, when you see like silence from a character's face, like they don't have to say, hey, I'm sad. You can just look at their face and tell their mood with everything that's going on. That says a lot. And props to Danielle, because Trini's expression on her face just sums up how she felt with what went down, how she's missing home, she doesn't like what's going on. I mean, you kind of feel for her, to be honest. So while all this Breel stuff is going on, we cut away to the moon, where Zed is pissed off at Dayne for letting the Rangers live. And I love Dayne's response. Like, Dayne just does not give a fuck. He does things his own way, how he handles business, and it's just a freaking badass. I mean, I love Dayne. His design looks so freaking cool, just the way he can look menacing on one panel, the way he eats like the chopsticks, and then when he's like talking to Zed, he just looks calm and relaxed with this look on his face. I mean, I freaking love this character. So Dayne's saying, so we broke their leader, what's their next move? Do they give up? And if I kill him, what's going to happen? Like, Dayne says, what happens if I kill the Rangers? And Zed replies with, Zordon just recruits new ones like he always does. And Dayne goes, I broke their leader, so just let them pick up the pieces. I'll make them fight wounded, and then I'll destroy their Zords, and I'll make them crack one by one, and then they'll give us Zordon. So Dayne's strategy is to break the Rangers down slowly, put them at their weakest spot, and then he'll go after Zordon. So Dayne goes, you just leave this to me, I'll handle it from here. Well, he doesn't say like that. He just makes his badass speeches saying, you'll pay me triple, and he goes into like Lord Zed's equipment room, grabs one of those grenades that Lord Zed threw at monsters of the week to make them grow bigger, and he uses it on himself, and it's a really freaking cool panel where he teleports in the park, he pulls the grenade, throws it down, and he goes giant. So while Dayne is giant and causing havoc throughout the city, we cut back to what I was talking about earlier, where Trini checks her voicemail and it's a call from Kimberly, and Kimberly is just saying, I miss you, Trini, I don't know what to do, I just miss my friends. And I get the feeling what Kimberly's feeling right now is because Tommy's down and out, Billy doesn't know what to do, Adam, Rocky, and Aisha, they don't know what to do because they're the new recruits. I get the feeling Kimberly just feels distressed because if it was the original the original 6 Rangers, they'd all have a plan, they'd all know what to do because they'd face it together. Like Jason would have some kind of plan along with Zach, along with Trini, and because they'd been together for so long, they all would know what to do. And I get the feeling just because Tommy's down and out, they've never felt this kind of loss before. They've never felt this kind of distress. Well, Kimberly hasn't, if you know what I mean. So she's very worried, and she misses her friend Trini. So while this is going on, we get this awesome panel with the Thunder Megazord and the Thunder Zords fighting Dayne. And I like it how Kimberly is narrating because she goes, I'm sure whatever this guy throws at us, we can take it. And as she says throws at us, you see Dayne charging up some sort of fireball, some key blast, and throwing it at the Rangers. And the final page is the Thunder Zord pinned down, and Dayne is stabbing it with his giant sword, cracking open the cockpit, the giant circle thing in the middle of the Thunderzord, breaking it open. So like Dayne said, he's going to break the Zords and then make the Rangers crack one by one until they give him Zordon. So Dayne, like I said earlier, Dayne doesn't fuck around, he knows what he's doing. And that's pretty much where the issue ends, with the Thunder Megazord pinned on the ground, unable to move. It looks like they're in a serious situation, with once again Dayne having the upper hand. So Dayne is very serious, and like I said, don't take him lightly. So overall, issue 43 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was a really good issue. I liked the fight with Dayne, how Dayne managed to one-shot all the Rangers, taking him out with ease. The Breel stuff was really cool, and I didn't know where it was going, especially with that plot twist of the Cultivus, I believe his name is, was the empowered all along and not Queen Adriel. That was a really cool twist, and things are slowly getting into place for the future stuff we know about with the preview pages. There's going to be a betrayal on the team, the Omega Rangers are coming to Earth. A lot of stuff is going down in future issues of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on the side of Necessary Evil. Things are getting very, very interesting, and I can't wait to see them, because like Necessary Evil is getting really crazy. I mean, things aren't balls to the wall crazy like they were in Shattered Grid. Necessary Evil is moving at its own pace, which it does feel a little bit slow sometimes, but it's like a prequel to one another, a prequel and a sequel to one another. Like, the Go-Go side is lining up the pieces, what happens in Mighty Morphin, and Mighty Morphin is the aftermath of Shattered Grid. It's a sequel to Shattered Grid, so each issue sort of connects with one another as they come out each month, which is very, very interesting, and I can't wait to see what happens next month, especially with the Omega Ranger Zord making its first appearance. And I don't know what's happening in Go-Go. I think it's going to be something about Bulk and Skull because they're on the cover. But either way, I'm really, really excited what's going to happen next in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Go-Go with Necessary Evil. I mean, I really enjoyed this issue. The artwork was on point, the contrast and stuff like that. The writing was pretty good. Necessary Evil has been a really fun ride, and I can't wait to see where it goes next. Anyways, I'm going to wrap up this review of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue 43. As always, tell me what you guys thought of the issue. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Tell me down below. If you enjoyed this video, slap a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you're new, all that good stuff, because it helps me out, it helps you out. You know the rest what I usually say. Anyway guys, peace out, take care, and have a wonderful day.